I think it's very weird that all now I haven't spoken about this condition because I feel like I could really help somebody, especially if I talk about my own personal experience with it. So I read on The Guardian, it says, a moment that changed me, a rare condition left me fighting to breathe and repaired my marriage. Make sure you guys follow me as every single day. I talk about interesting documentaries and news stories that nobody else is talking about. So in this news article, they talk about a condition called subglottic stenosis, which is basically when your airway just starts to narrow. And it's so rare that most people who get the condition will be misdiagnosed for a very, 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 very long time. And the craziest thing is it is life threatening. It's a complicated one because people's airways narrow for many different reasons. Some people it's because of autoimmune disease, maybe because of a breathing pipe or whatever it may be. This woman says she had it for months before it was picked up. Now, with me personally, it took me, or doctors rather, 3 years to find out that my airway was slowly narrowing. I was literally passed around like a ping pong ball for a good 3 years. And I cannot emphasize the stuff I went through. I only got my operation last year, so they injected my airway and put steroids in it so it can to widen it. My airway was so tiny, but no one was picking it up. And the way it impacted me is a thing where I was always out of breath to the point where I'll be walking. Imagine someone that you don't know, a stranger, is tapping you and saying, are you okay? You are out of breath. And bear in mind, I haven't done anything. I had to sacrifice so much, like, especially now I'm getting better. But in terms of like walking with my friends, simple things after work, I want to walk home with my friends to the station, but I can't even walk a simple distance because when I try and talk to them and have a conversation, I seriously can't breathe. And I'm trying to mask the fact that I can't breathe because I don't know why I can't breathe. Doctors have told me all sorts of things. And then the first thing, if you're out of breath, somebody's going to think is, oh, you're fat. So now you're just insecure about your weight. You're insecure, you're masking that you can't breathe. And you know how bad it was? It was bad to the point where I'm walking 10 minutes trying to have a conversation with my friends, and my head starts hurting so much because that's how out of breath I am. I cannot explain to you guys how bad it is. I couldn't even, I was doing content when I had this problem with my breathing. You won't notice because every time I'm out of breath, which was every flipping 10 seconds, I would have to tap the camera and stop recording, or I'd be consciously holding my breath. There's so many jobs I couldn't go for because I couldn't speak. And the fact that it took so long for me to get diagnosed was so hard for me because it's always like, oh, you got allergies, or maybe you need to go and do some exercise, or like they will come up with so many things. I even went through speech therapy. They checked my thyroids. It was to the point where I remember the doctors being on the phone and saying to me that, one guy said to me, because nothing serious has really happened, I don't think your issue's that deep. I'm walking up, not even a simple flight of stairs. I get up and I am panting like a dog. I don't think you understand. And it was so hard because you can't explain why you're panting. So some people just think you're lazy, you're unfit. I had somebody tell me, oh, you should be able to do these stairs. I was complaining about the stairs. I was struggling somewhere. Yo, you're young, you should be fit. Do you know how embarrassing that is? But the whole point of this video is to tell you that if you are ever experiencing extreme shortness of breath, you know, my voice went for about 6 weeks. Actually, I had no voice and there was hoarseness. My voice just wouldn't last. If I go out and talk with my friend for 1 hour, by the end of that hour, my voice is gone. If you ever experience anything like that, I'm going to tell you for free, 100% the doctors will not first think you have this. And the problem with this is your airway is what helps you breathe. It narrows and narrows and narrows over time. So make sure you tell the doctor, listen, check my airway. Is it narrow? Do I have subglottic stenosis? Because that is so debilitating. When they finally found out I had it, I nearly got dismissed again. This was like the 10th time. I'm at the ENT. The ENT doctor that spoke to me that day, he said, we've looked at your airway and we just think there's a lot of mucus down there. He nearly dismissed me and I nearly went on thinking, okay, again, I'm going to get better. Maybe they fix the mucus because I don't know what the problem is. Until he said, I'm going to get a second opinion. The second opinion came in. This was like his boss. And his boss is telling him, look at the screen. What do you notice? These are professionals. They can't tell me what is wrong. He can't tell me. He's pressuring him. What is wrong? What is wrong? He's not getting it. Then he explained to this man, the professional, the boss, explained her airway is severely narrow. Her airway is not normal. They rushed me upstairs to take all sorts of blood tests, all sorts of tests. They booked me an operation very quick within 2 weeks. And now I'm on basically medication to hopefully stop my airway from narrowing again. But it's not a one and done type of thing. So there's still times where I have to do infusions, and if I ever feel like I can't breathe properly, then it's straight to A&E. But yeah, I'll never be able to explain how much that impacted my life. I had to stop applying for the jobs I wanted because all the jobs I wanted to go for it involved me speaking, and I just couldn't do it. And I'm somebody who could talk for London. I remember when I was in uni. So imagine for a good 6 weeks, I had no voice. Guys, I literally mean, I went to the shop one time, and the shopkeeper was doing sign language because he's like thinking that I'm deaf. I remember another time I went to one of my family friends' parties, and I'm seeing all these aunties and uncles I haven't seen for a long time. When I'm going to talk to them, I'm trying to whisper in their ear, and they're hugging me, thinking I'm trying to hug them. It was the worst time. I couldn't talk, and I'm somebody that talks. Please, 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 if you ever experience anything like that, like you've lost your voice for a week, just bring it up because no doctor's ever going to suspect this. And the maddest thing is, it was written on my medical records. When I went to go and check my thyroid, they said there's nothing wrong with my thyroid. But that specialist wrote on my medical records, her airway, there's narrowing in my airway. But I didn't know I could go on the NHS app and see my medical records. But all the doctors after this thyroid specialist for a good couple months, they can see my medical records. And none of them bothered to think, oh, Joanne's airway is narrowing. And I suffered and I suffered and I suffered. But thank God I'm okay now.